moved over here a little bit more maybe. There, that's maybe a little more centered. Happy Monday. It is Monday, which means it is New Start Monday Knits here at Wildflower Wool. Every Monday I cast on a brand new project, and in Instagram I post, what do I do? I post a poll in these stories, and it's in my feed, and it's over on Wildflower Wool's Facebook page as well, as to what the question, what the poll, what I need votes on for this week, as far as what I'm going to cast on. Sometimes it's a new yarn, sometimes it's a pattern, sometimes it's a project idea, and I let you guys weigh in to help me choose what I'm going to cast on this week. My two choices for this week were these two skeins. These are the Karen Pantone colorways. These are both really, really pretty yarns. So we'll talk about what the voting was, what the ending vote was for these two. I have got 2 updates on projects that I started over the last month or so, and an update on last week's New Start Monday project, which I'll give you a little hint, is looking really, really good. Let's talk about these 2 yarns. Have you guys knit with these? They're really soft. So just for starters, just the first glance, they are super pretty. Beautiful colors. These are 2 of the brighter colorways. There's a lot of different colorways. Some of them are even just solid. So there is a gray solid, a gray, a black, a beige, a white, a purple solid. Now, I'm not even sure, you may be able to still find these some places. Michael's was carrying these, but I don't think they are anymore. Lens Mills has some still left. I'm not sure if they're available online or not. I have a bunch of these in my stash and thought it would be a good idea to start knitting with them. I don't think I have ever knit with them. I think I have gotten as far as dismantling these cute little braids, but I don't think I've actually ever knit. So colorways, let's get all the details on these. This is a Lollipop Whirl is the rainbow, and Purple Pop is this really cute one. 3 shades of purple, the lemongrass, and a navy. They're both really, really pretty. They are a bulky weight yarn, which I don't know. And maybe I'm just starting to lose my touch here on like deciding weights of yarn, but to me that really looks like a worsted. I don't know. Doesn't seem real bulky to me. Maybe it's a light bulky. It does say it's a number 5 bulky, but man, I don't know. It looks kind of like a number 4 worsted to me. But so this is machine washable and dryable, 60% acrylic, 20 nylon, and 20% merino. That's probably what makes it give it such a nice feel. I like anything that has nylon in it too. It seems to really soften up an acrylic yarn as well. 100 grams, 127 yards, 116 meters. So pretty. 100 grams, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Yep, so 20 grams of each color. They're both really pretty, aren't they? I think they will both eventually be hats. But my question for this week was, which one will I cast on first? It's going to be a Fair Isle hat. I have this vision of a chevron kind of pattern. I'm going to design it as I go. Let's see how it turns out. Do some ribbing on the bottom, maybe about an inch. We'll see how it goes. I think I will do a twisted, German twisted long tail cast on. I think that's the one I'm going to do for this one. I don't think I'll do a regular long tail. I think I would do the twisted. So this vote was close. So close. I think this is tied with one of the other votes for the closest vote in our voting history. Oh, hi Diane. I'm just going to tell you which one won. It came down to counting every single vote that was cast, again, in Instagram stories, Instagram feed, and the Facebook poll. It's always funny. It always makes me smile. It always makes me interested to see how the vote's different between Instagram and Facebook. So Facebook was voting lollipop. Instagram, everybody was going, a good chunk of the people were saying purple pops. I think right out of the gate, purple pop was ahead by a few votes. Then a good part of the day, it was tied on Instagram stories, 50-50. Then purple pop pulled ahead by a little bit. And in the end, when Facebook votes were tallied, by one vote, lollipop pulled ahead. I feel like this is like a horse race and saying like it won by a nose, like won by one vote. So, I mean, they're both really pretty. I can't really go wrong knitting with any of them. This is just going to make me smile every time I pull this yarn out. Nice, bright colors. A few of the votes, you know, were saying do the bright. Go with bright colors. Hold on to that summer vibe as long as we can. And let me tell you, I'm feeling that. Today, it actually cooled down. I think this is the first day in a week that we have not had a heat warning. Oh, this is the first day it was just normal hot, not sit in your chair and feel like you are melting kind of hot. So this is it. Isn't this going to be pretty? I think I'm just going to knit them this direction. I had thought at one time, I thought, oh, I could mix and match, right? I could get different skeins out, I could divide them, and I could, oh, you know, add this purple into here or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not going to make it hard for myself. I say that, isn't that funny? Not make it hard for myself. I usually always do that. Can I? Oh. I think I actually put all my scissors away. I don't, unless there's something. I was going to try to untie these and take them apart. Maybe I won't. So they're just tied. So these are like a 20 gram, well, they're 20 grams. So I was going to say they're like a mini skein. So 20 grams, 20 grams, 20 grams, 20 grams, 20 grams. So I will see. I think I'm going to just follow my super simple hat pattern. I think I will make one adjustment to the pattern, and I will use a smaller needle size for the ribbing and then switch to the larger size for the body of the hat and just work color, 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 and end up with a really fun little flower pattern on the top as I decrease. That is the plan. So thank you so much for all of your votes. Everybody who voted, this is always a fun way for me to start off the week. You know, I get a new project to cast on, get to play with new yarn, get to play with a new design, but I also get to see what you guys like and what yarn, because I never know until about 10 to 7. Actually, tonight I think I left it till right about 5 to 7, waiting to see if anybody voted, there was any last minute votes in here. And then I thought, what do I do if it ties? What happens if one more person votes for purple before I go live? Then what would I do? Flip a coin? Pick the one I want? I don't know. Actually, I don't even know. I hadn't really even thought about if I was picking. I like them both. That's why I picked them both. I don't know which one I would pick. I'm happy with the lollipop. So it's going to be a pretty hat, nice and bright. It'll go into my Christmas box. So hopefully it'll make somebody else smile this winter. So stay tuned. I'm going to try and cast this on yet tonight. Even though a lot of my knitting definitely this past weekend was my challenge knitting projects with Jocelyn from Northern Knits podcast. Because if you guys follow Jocelyn and I on our 1 month live check-in, that is coming up on Wednesday night. Wednesday, a whole month has gone by yet again. Does Louise have her projects done? Not quite. I know. I don't know where the months go. Seriously, this is crazy. So I did a lot of knitting on my projects for Jocelyn. I may have revamped my goals just a little bit to help me out here. but I did a lot of work on that. So yeah, tonight, will this get, yeah, I'm going to cast this on just so I can say it's on the needle. I will cast it on. And then it's back to working on some of those projects for Wednesday night. So if you are a regular watcher of Jocelyn and I, you may say to yourself, but don't you guys usually do it on Thursdays? And you would be right. We usually go live on my right here on the Wildflower World channel the first Thursday of the month and kind of recap the last month's progress. Because it's the long weekend and I have Friday off, which means when Thursday night, as soon as I'm done work, I'm out of here. I'm heading away for the weekend. So Jocelyn and I won't be able to podcast Thursday night. We're going to do it Wednesday night. So which is a day less knitting. And I actually thought about that when Jocelyn and I were talking about just bumping it ahead a day. And you know, I'm always like, that's okay. This time I'll be organized. This time I won't need that extra day because I'll be done way ahead of schedule. Yeah, not. So anyway, we'll see. Give me a couple more nights and join us Wednesday night to see how much knitting I get done over the next couple of nights. Hi, Joanne. So hi to everybody who's popped in, watching live, hanging out. Hope you've got your knitting and just kicking back, relaxing. So this project, my sea glass wrap, I'm loving this. I know I showed it to you last week. I'll probably just keep showing it to you every week because it is just so much fun. You can see it's still, we're still getting a nice diagonal on here. The yarn, for anybody who's just watching this week, or I mean, honestly, right? We all watch so many knitting podcasts. We probably get everybody's projects. It's hard to remember what everybody's working on, right? So I'll just give you a recap. This is the Karen Cakes, Karen Cotton Cakes, Colorways Beach Glass. And I really need to find, I have a mesh, I don't know what they were. I think they came off wine bottles. Do you guys know what I mean by it's kind of like that plasticky netting mesh stuff? I think it came off a wine bottle. A friend, one of our Knitting Goddesses members, she was collecting them. I don't know where she was drinking all this wine. I don't know where she was getting them all. Actually, I think she was, did she get them from, actually, I think she got them from the liquor store because the liquor store maybe just tosses them. Maybe they are just, that's how the wine comes into the store in these mesh sleeves. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I don't know. Anyways, they're great for being like a ball holder. They're open top and bottom, but it will just slide around your ball and hold them nice and tight. Oh, anyways. Oh, does that say Susanna? Okay. Loving this yarn. The cotton, the acrylic. I think it's a 60-40 blend of cotton and acrylic. The colors are gorgeous. I just got a full color repeat on here. Isn't it nice? Different shades. So there's 2 shades of the brown, a white, 2 shades of the blue. So pretty, so nice. The pattern stitch is this diagonal fixed loop stitch is what it's called. I love this. I mean, I know you guys are going to say, I come on here every week and say, I love this, I love this, I love this, but it's true. Apparently I just love it all. Oh no, no sound. Oh dear. That's not good. I know, tech problems. Anyways, this stitch, like it. The only one drawback to it is because it is a diagonal stitch. It is because we're doing, now I'm just thinking, could probably modify the decreases so it didn't diagonal, but I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to embrace the diagonal structure of the stitch and just go with that as a design element in the shawl. It's not, yeah, so it does bias. So if you were going to do something like if you wanted to make it into an Afghan square or a dishcloth, you would have to play around with the decreases every other row. So you had a left leaning decrease and a right leaning decrease. Right now, all my decreases are going one way, hence the bias. So if you wanted it to be straight, you have to decrease one way, decrease the other. And that would stop the biasing. But you know what? I'm just going to go with it. I am loving it. And did I tell you, I did get a third ball. I bought 2 balls originally. I did the math. Each one of these little stripes was only, well, I don't know, only 1.25 inches. So just did the math. I wanted it to be a full wingspan, so at least 60 inches. So I went and I got a third ball. So this is really fun. A nice 4-row oh, is that, oh, phone, okay, hopefully that's not for me, right? You'll review later. Okay, so 4-row repeat. It's nice. It's great. It's a good knit night project. Oh my gosh, I just thought about this. Remember last year I was doing all the dishcloths? I need to go back and review my notes. I was making notes on projects that were good knit night projects. And what was my criteria? I had a criteria, something about like not needing to read the pattern. You had to be able to knit it and talk kind of thing. I just thought about it. I totally forgot that I had started to make a list to see which patterns kind of checked all the boxes. This one maybe doesn't quite, because I do have to take a quick look at the pattern just to read to see how many stitches I'm doing at the beginning of the row, because it changes every row just at the beginning. The end you can figure out because you can read your stitches, but I don't know. Maybe if I really thought hard or really paid attention, I could figure out the beginning, but I'm like, why? I can just do a quick look at my pattern. It tells me how many I need to do. And once I get that beginning stitches done, kind of have that edging on there, and I get into my pattern, then for the rest of the way, I can read across my row. If I set it down, I can pick it up, I can read my stitches, and I know what I'm doing. So it's all good. Oh, hey, Valerie. Oh, you were doing dishes? That is very good of you. Good. Very disciplined to be doing work before pleasure. Okay, the other project that I've been working on a lot this week, because I had to set a timer and stop myself from working on this. This is my Wild Child yarn. Ball band's upstairs, but this is Debbie from Loving Paths Yarn, colorway Wild Child, and it is gorgeous. This is her 75/25. It is really soft, beautiful, beautiful. Loving the colors. This is my asymmetrical shawl. And it's growing. Oh, hey. Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you, Susan. That's you, Susan? I am so glad that you just popped in to say hi. I know, isn't this gorgeous? And look how wide it's getting. I'm getting some stitches on here. It is now taking me, a little while to get across the row. And there's my stitch marker. I did all of this week. I did that much. Pretty good progress. And again, this is one I don't have to look at the pattern at all for this. It has the 1-stitch I-cord on the edge, both sides. You can do that. Yeah, as a start, there's a double yarn over at the beginning, I-cord, and then just increases as you go. Just pretty lace. Just a super relaxing knit. I know I say that, and I will say I have had to pull my needle out a couple of times, because sometimes on the easiest patterns, when you just think you know what you're doing, it goes, I don't know. I don't pay attention. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm listening to whatever. And you know quickly enough if you've made a mistake on this pattern, because you can see you've got your diagonal lace rows here. And if you somehow, either if you forget a yarn over, if you get off a stitch when you're beginning your row, your columns here aren't going to line up. Your yarn overs won't stack diagonally, and these nice solid lines, they won't. So your line is going this way, and if you get off track by a stitch, those solid lines start, instead of continuing on this way, they start going this way. So it's like you're zigging and then you're zagging, which is fine if that's what your stitch pattern is. Sometimes I've done that on purpose, where I will go so many rows this way and then zig it this way and zag it that way and just keep going. But this one, I want it all going the one way. And so sometimes I have done a quick look back and I'll be like, darn, what did I do? My zig-a-zagging. And so I just pull out the needle and I pull back a couple of rows, pick up, and get on track. So somewhere along the line, I've, yeah, I don't know, I've got off track somewhere. So whether I've missed a yarn over, that could do it, because that would throw off my stitch count. Because this pattern you can read. When I'm going in to do my knit twos together, I look at the 2 stitches. The first stitch should be a yarn over. The second stitch is the stitch from the knit 2 together. So if I go to put my needle in, and if I'm not going through a yarn over first, that is a signal to me that I know I have gotten off track. So I just look at and read my stitches as I'm going along. I just always think, yep, yarn overs first, yarn overs first, yarn overs first. And then every once in a while I get going along my merry way. And then you can feel the stitch, like it just go, the needle, you know, when the needle goes in the stitch, it doesn't feel right. And I look at it and sure enough, they're reversed. I've got a solid stitch and my yarn over's on the right. So then I just unknit and see if I can see where, if I've forgotten something. Or a couple times, maybe once or twice I did actually fudge it. So if there was supposed to be a knit 2 together, I would just knit 1. Because with lace, you have to fudge it in the right spot. If you don't, it just, the problem multiplies. Kind of like fixing brioche. If you don't do it right, you can get yourself into a bigger mess than the original mistake. But overall, this is a really good beginner pattern. And if you really are a beginner and can't read your stitches, I would highly suggest just slipping through a lifeline. So if you did find you got yourself off track, you could just pull out your needle, rip it right back to that lifeline. The lifeline will hold your stitches, slide your needle through where that lifeline is. You know you're on track there, and just keep track of what row that was. So you know, put it on a row 4 so you know you're starting a brand new repeat with row 1, and keep it going. What is that? Fudging is a skill in itself. It is, especially with lace. I mean, with something else, like garter stitch, stockinette stitch, or whatever, you can just, you get to the end of your row and you're like, oh shoot, I'm a stitch off, whatever, just add 1 in and carry on. Not with lace. Not with lace. You have to put it in the pattern repeat. You know, you have to increase there. So, but overall, I would probably say, well, I don't know, brioche might be the trickiest of all, but I would always say lace is one of the harder ones, probably the hardest one, I would think. Just because of that, and the fixing it's a little trickier. But anyways, this overall is pretty easy. And even if you do make a mistake on it, it is pretty easy to fix as far as lace goes. So that is that. Loving this. I can't wait to wear this. This I am keeping for myself. I'm not giving this away. I have thought though about getting another ball of yarn and doing maybe a hat with it. I think this ball, the Wild Child, I think I had wanted to do a hat. When I bought this, that's what I envisioned, was a hat. And then of course in the poll, I think I asked hat or shawl, and you guys all voted for shawl. So shawl it is. And I love it. So I may do a hat though, just so I have a matching set. Maybe I'll need mitts too. So, okay, now this I am super excited about. Last week's new start. It is started. I didn't get as much done on it think every Monday I'm so gung-ho and I think, okay, now I know the votes are in, I've done the video, I've chatted with everybody, I know what my project is, I'm gonna cast on, I'll get it started before I head off to bed, and I'll just magically get it done in the next few days. Yeah, well, all my other projects, my shawls, everything, calls my name, and I don't know. I only get so much done. So I don't have near as much done on this as I had hoped, but I've got a good little start on it, and I think it is looking even better than I hoped. Last week's project. Remember this yarn? This is the Patton's Classic Wool DK Superwash. These were the two colors I knew for sure I wanted to use. The orange pumpkin, yep, pumpkin and deep olive, yes, pumpkin and deep olive. And my question, the voting was, what color do I add with it? Do I add white, which is Aran, or eggplant? Yes, eggplant. It was between these two. You guys voted eggplant. So I started off with these three colors. The stitch pattern that I had picked was a 3-color slip stitch pattern to do the pillow. Remember I said I even bought a small pillow form. I did a 12 by 12. This was the smallest Lens Mills had, in the hopes that I could get it done quick. And I didn't get it done. If I didn't, I could have got it done though, because this really would be a quick and easy project if I wasn't working on, 5 other things, like literally 5 other things this week. But that's okay. Start is a start. That's my whole purpose behind doing New Start Mondays is you can't finish if you don't start. They have to be on the needle so it's there. You can just pick it up and go. So that's where I'm at this project. So this, I did, I don't know, probably about at least 3 starts on this, just to get my gauge down the way I wanted it, try the stitch pattern out, and see how my colors looked. I did the 3 colors, and I thought, I like it, but I don't know, there was just something missing. So you know what I did? Came back and I added the white in. So I tweaked the pattern a little bit. Instead of it being a 3-row striped pattern, slip stitched striped pattern, I just made it into a 4-row, 4-color repeat pattern. And I added the white in. And I'm really glad I did. And you know what? Some weeks in the polls, there was always 1 or 2 people that say, Louise, just do them both. So when there was these 2 colors in there, I know there would have been a couple people that said, just do them both. And some people did have the idea, which is absolutely correct, that the white would lighten it up a little bit because this is dark and the white would help just brighten it, which it absolutely does. But I always, one part of me felt a little like, I'm like, oh, I don't want to mess with the vote, right? Purple won the vote, so that's what I wanted to go with. But I don't know. I had this little gut feeling with saying add the white in. So I did, and I really like it. So it's all 4 colors. You want to see it? You're probably sitting there going, Louise, just show it to me already. I can't wait. So I cast on, and this is, I have a good example here of do what I say, not as I do. My needle, I'm talking about my needle size, but look at this. So there's my purple cast on. I did Judy's Magic Cast On. I remembered it this week. Remember it last week? I was like, what in the world is that? Judy Jenny's? So Judy's Magic Cast On. So there's the white added in. And yesterday on Sunday, I put up a question. I'm trying to put a question in my Instagram stories every day for people to either comment on or to pick. I did a quiz. Actually, I did a quiz yesterday, so you could pick A, B, or C. And the question was about slip stitching. And I had mentioned the answer in last week's podcast, but not everybody watches this. So I just did it. The question was, for slip stitch knitting, where do you hold your, oh, what is this knitting? Oh, hi, that's you, Paula, right? I think Paula. Do I check, what is this? Contrast with a photo. No, I don't. I should, but I don't. So the question, the Instagram stories question was, where do you hold your yarn when you're working a slip stitch pattern? Do you always hold the yarn when you're slipping the stitch? Do you hold the yarn on the right side of your work, on the wrong side of the work, or both? Depends on what your stitch pattern is. And Anne was thinking, just show us, stop talking and just show us. I have to draw out, I don't have like a drum roll or something, and I have to like build the anticipation, and hopefully it was worth the wait. But look at that. I am loving these colors together. So as far as the slip stitch, where you hold the yarn, it was C. It was, depends on what the pattern is. I would say typically most patterns tell you to always hold it to the wrong side of your work so that you don't get the floats when you're slipping. They typically are hid to the back of your work, but this pattern, they are all held to the front. So that's, you're seeing all those little, look like little floats here. Typically we would want those to be hidden, right? Like if we're doing color work or something, those would be hidden on the inside, but this just is part of the texture of the pattern. Hi Marnie, looks really good. Oh, can you hold, oh, what is this thing? Can you hold your slip stitch either? Oh yes, you can hold them either place. Completely different look. Exactly. And this is what it's doing, is on the front, is giving you this textured look and kind of breaking up the stitches. So it is really fun. It did take me a little bit, and that's what I used my gauge swatching for, was just to get kind of memory of bringing that yarn to the front. So it's almost like you're doing a knit purl stitch, because the yarn moves, your working yarn moves every stitch. You have it at the back so you can knit, then you bring it forward, you slip, you bring the yarn back, you knit, you bring it forward, you slip, back and knit. So you just, the yarn is moving back and forth every other stitch. Every stitch you move it forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. So it maybe makes for not a super quick knit, just like ribbing takes longer to do than stockinette or garter, right? But it's fun. It's very rhythmic. I can read my stitches. Can I show you on here? Oh yeah, because I'm on a purple, or the orange. So it's really easy to see. Okay, so right there, that stitch between my fingers, that's a knit. This one here has got the slip, a little bump on the bottom. So when I'm coming back to this, you're just doing the opposite. So it's kind of like, maybe I'll say it's more like seed stitch, because wherever my plain knit is, I'm going to slip that one. The one that I've slipped on the row below, or the previous row, I know that stitch I'm going to knit. So I can just do a quick visual check again by reading my stitches, and I can say like that one there was a slip, so I know I'm going to knit it. Really, really quite easy. I have not messed this up, other than my 3 starts to get everything on track, kind of my 3 gauges. Oh, try this on a sock heel. Wouldn't that look pretty? Yeah, absolutely. That would be fun. And even just, I feel like this is even a bonus. I think I even have it the right width. It should, because every time I was playing around with the color, every one of my trials, I was really measuring it. So I've got a little negative ease, But I think once I pull it out, I think it's going to fit perfectly. So this, my plan for this is to get it done soon-ish so I can have it for fall. But this is really fun. Now that I've got it going, okay, so back to my whole reason about getting things started and on the needle so that they're just there and you can just pick them up. I feel like that is where I am now with this project. I've got enough of it done that all these tails, I pulled all these out because I was actually going to weave them in because now I'm sure it's all going to fit. But I have enough done that right now I can even just tuck those in between my two layers and get them out of the way, because this was really, really fiddly. Working with 4 yarns, 4 tails. The first, I don't know, at least 4 rounds or so, I had yarn tails every which way. And like I said, my needles, not really long enough for magic loop. Magic, as you guys know, any experienced magic loop knitters out there, oh, why weave? Oh, what, my ends in? My ends, these ones, I want to just weave these in and get them out of the way so they're not, I don't have 8 strands of yarn to contend with. And then I just have my 4 here. Is what I meant with that. Maybe I didn't explain it well enough. Anyways, so magic loop, you know, you want the longer the cable, the better, so you don't lose your loop. Well, I couldn't, this is the needle I had, and so I thought, I can make it work. And you know what? I can make it work, but I'm constantly pretty much losing my loop. Sometimes it's really close, like just about to disappear in there. Oh, Diane. Oh, okay. But inside you don't. Oh, no. Yeah. Because it's all inside. You're right. And I just want to get rid of them just because it's just being a tangled mess. But you're right, because it's all going to be inside the pillow. Nobody's going to see the inside anyway. So you're right. You don't really have to do too much weaving in. But I just need to get them out of my way. But now I feel like this project is set. I can set it down, and I don't even need to look at the pattern for this either. Can just, I mean, if you, once you can read your stitches, you are underway. Like you've got, it just makes a world of difference. Did you guys see Daisy sitting on my lap? She's sitting on the chair here right beside me, purring away. Anyway, what else was I going to say? Yeah, so I can just pick this up now. I feel like I've just got this little bit done. I got things joined on the edges, and I can just go round and round and round now. I know it's going to fit. I know I like my colors. So it can now just go in my rotation, because what I've been doing with my sea glass shawl, the Wild Child shawl, is just kind of going and making sure I do half an hour to an hour every day on it, and then I set it aside and go to the next project. So now I can slot this in there too. A longer needle, I know what to do. And finish that project. Oh, so you mean like go find the needle and whatever it's on, finish that? Yeah, well, that sounds like you're exactly right. That's probably what I should do. Sue, I did that. Okay, so Sue's comment was, now I think this is what you're meaning, Sue, and this is what I did. On this end here, my halfway round, I put one of those light bulb stitch markers on here. And I lose it. I don't pay attention. I don't know what I do. Every time I come around here, I must let it fall off. You would think I would be, you know, think twice or be careful to keep it on here, but I always end up finding it on the ground because Well, maybe I should do this down here. On the beginning of the round, I didn't have to because I had all these, well, I guess I still have my working yarn tails, don't I? So I don't have to worry so much here because if I lose this loop, I, no shoulds in knitting, just fun. You're right. You know what? That's a whole good motto for a whole entire life, right? Is forget about all the things we should do. Like I should be doing the dishes. I should be vacuuming. I should be whatever. Yeah, I know. I read something about that. Yeah. Should forget about the shoulds and just either you do it or you don't, right? Don't worry about the shoulds. So but I did like, so that was a great idea. And I had that idea and probably it will work good if I pay attention. Because then, so what Sue's saying is, right, if you've got your marker on here, when this pulls in, you've got the marker right there. So you know exactly where to grab it and to pull out and just, so it does work. And for the most part, I can kind of see anyways, because I have like a seam right at the side of my pillow form starting. So I can kind of see if I lose it, I can pull it back out and around. But anyways, this is it. What else? Oh, each row. So the whole idea with this is one color. So my orange here, you only knit with one color per round. So it's not like your Farrow where you have one strand in each hand, right? I don't have yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow, orange. Orange, purple, or white, green, white, green. It is just one. It's either purple for 2 rounds, orange for 2 rounds, green for 2 rounds, white for 2 rounds. And then in between those two, in those 2 rounds, you're slipping up the color below. So I cast on with purple. So I had a base of purple. Then I went to my orange. I dropped the purple yarn. I just picked up orange and I knit an orange. Then I slipped a purple stitch up. I knit an orange, slipped a purple stitch up. So just keep doing that across with the orange. So you only knit or like work 2 rows with holding 1 strand. So say two rows with the orange, but you get 3 rows of work with orange in it because you are slipping. So this was the first 2 you're knitting with the orange, and then the third one I've actually switched to the green and I'm holding the green and I'm knitting with the green, and then I slip the orange up. I'm knitting with the green and I slip the orange up. So you get 3 orange rows, but you only knit with the orange twice. Kind of fun. And there is one row, as you can see where I ended off here, the middle row or the second row that you work with the color, you end up with everything's the same. The other row, I'm going to switch colors now. I'm going to switch to green. I'm going to knit with the green and I'm going to slip the orange. So then 2 out of the 3 rows, you always have like a green, orange, green, orange, green, orange. And then you've got, then I'll have all green, and then I will have white, green, white, green, white, green. So it's kind of, it took a little while till I could see how the stitches were forming, but now that I've seen it, I know exactly where I am and what I should be looking for, because on this row, one other row where I knew it was supposed to be all solid, every stitch should be the same color, I got off track when I slipped 2 stitches by accident. I brought my yarn forward, I slipped the slip stitch, and I accidentally slipped the second stitch that should be knit. So then that's offset my pattern. And instead of having all my stitches orange or white or whatever color they were, they started alternating again. And I did about, 6 stitches, and I looked at it and I'm like, wait a sec, this is not right. So again, another good reason for being able to, take the time to kind of read your stitches, because you can catch mistakes early, hopefully early on. What does the wrong side look like? You know what? It just kind of looks, it's all the pearl bumps, which is kind of pretty too. I don't think it's as pretty as the slip stitch side, So it's almost, it could almost be reversible. I mean, really, who's to say what's the right and wrong side? But that's what it is. So you're just getting little bumps. So that is that project. I'm really enjoying this. So I will just, like I said, I'll just slot it in with my other projects. Give it a little, you know, even a row or two every night, so I can, you know, feel like I have got a little progress on it. And hopefully this will be done in time so I can do a little decorating for fall when I get my pumpkins out. Then I think I can just have this pillow set up, and hopefully it will look fallish is my plan. That is that. My next little bit of a job for tonight is finding some 16-inch needles or magic loop if I can't find a 16-inch, and getting my lollipop cast on. Oh, this yarn feels really nice. I'm excited to start knitting with this. And it's, yeah, and we'll see if it does actually work up as a worsted weight or a bulky weight. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking, my first thought was a 4.5 and a 5. I don't think I want to go any higher than a 5mm for this, but I guess I will just have to try it and find out. So what is everybody else working on? Let's just chat for maybe about another 10 minutes. And I know there's been some comment. I'm going to try to scroll back and see some of the comments here. And see if I missed, I know there's lots of chit-chatting in here. Yeah, the whole idea trying the multicolored on the slip stitch heel would look really pretty. So if you guys are on Instagram, check out my Instagram stories tomorrow, because I will have a different question up there. Oh, who is this? Is this Marnie again? Where did my... Marnie, you're on the body now, so just straight knitting. See, isn't that kind of nice? You're working on, oh, a love note. That's such a pretty sweater. I like, now do you find the straight knitting, do you find it boring or do you find it relaxing? I find it relaxing. I have no problem just doing a stockinette or garter, just round and round and round and round. I like that sometimes. Hi, Kathy. You're working on the new hat tonight. Okay, so what weight of yarn are you using, Kathy? Is yours a worsted? Is it fingering weight? Sue, socks for your husband. Oh, for your anniversary. Well, that's exciting. He's a lucky husband. Oh, Diane, you're finishing your test knit on the ribbing. Oh, you can't wait to be finished. Okay, so why is that? Is it just because it's been a big project? Or that's probably it, right? Probably not the fact that you're not enjoying it. Probably you're just excited to move on. And with test knits, you've got a deadline, right? So you sometimes have to be diligent and can't wander off like me and do a little of this and a little of that when you've got some deadlines. I have some deadlines coming up. So I'm hopefully going to have a couple of finishes in the next couple of weeks, because I have some deadlines that I need to try. I am going to make, hopefully with a day or two like grace period in there, so I'm not madly finishing the night before. That is my plan. So we will see. Oh, okay. So Marty's saying, so most times you find it relaxing. Yeah. When you get bored, you always have something to knit. Okay. So then you can kind of switch out if you get tired of just the round and round. Yeah. It's always good to have a couple of different things on the needles, right? That you can, if you're feeling it's been a long day and you just need something mindless knitting, garter stitch scarf or something, right? Just so you've got that relaxation of the knitting, but no thinking involved. Oh, so Kathy, fingering. Oh, scrumptious. Oh, what is that? Scrumptious purl. striping. Ooh, nice. Diane's saying exactly that. Get the test knit over with so you can move on to something else. Joanne, okay, so Joanne's been working on a summer sweater and you managed to get the neckline finished. You just need, so you have to make it longer. Okay, so which way did you go? Was it top down? And so you just got the collar on, so you're gonna go down just, so you don't have to like pick up stitches or do anything drastic. Is it still on the needle? You just have to, now that you know you have extra yarn, you can make it longer. Is that the kind of thing, Joanne? Deadline for Diane and her, yes, test knit. Oh, Kathy, you are so good. I'm going to embrace your positive that I will finish. You know what? I will finish because you know what? I have it here and I haven't knit on it in a few weeks. Remember this one, the Orange Crush? I only have this much left. I think, oh, Joanne said top down. So yes, so that's good. So now you can just carry on. Okay. I was envisioning it was like a bottom up and you had ribbing on it and you were going to like try to pick up stitches and make your ribbing longer or cut the ribbing off. But yeah, easy peasy. So remember this one? Oh, I love this one too. I think with this one, I had kind of that mental that I'm just like, oh, you know, I'm like so close to finishing that I set it aside thinking I was so close. And this has to be done. This has a deadline of September 19th when our guild goes back to the beach. This has to be done. So I think I may take this with me to the cottage this weekend and just work on getting this done. So, okay, so Joanne said, so you said according to the pattern, it tells you, yeah, so you start at the top at your neckline, do a top down sweater, and you knit the whole body and then you go back and you finish the neckline. But you know what? You did exactly the perfect thing. Because if you think you may run out, you know, you want to make sure you can stop the body anytime you want. You don't have to knit it. You could even, you could do that neckline anytime you wanted. You could just increase down and get as far as the sleeve divide. And if you want to go back and finish your neck right then to make sure that the opening fits nice and you like how it fits, you could totally do that then. And then if you don't, you could always start again and adjust your stitches and your stitch count to start. That's totally possible too. So good for you for being, you know, feeling that you could do this and knit things out of order, because patterns are really like a recipe to follow. That's exciting. I am glad. Now you can just go, yeah, make it as long as you want, use up all the yarn, or just give it a little extra so it's the length you like, and cast off and wear it. Maybe this will be the perfect weekend to wear it, Joanne. Oh, okay, Marnie's saying, Joanne, you do that all the time, finishing everything else before I finish the body. Well, there you go, because then you know how much yarn you've got if you want to make it longer, right? There, look at that. We all agree. We're all thinking the same thing. Fantastic. Well, everybody, I hope you guys all have a super fantastic knitting week. There are no drop stitches, no knots in your yarn. Wishing all the good and speedy knitting vibes I can send to you, so you guys get something, or you know, get lots of progress or get something finished. It sounds like Joanne could have a finish pretty soon with her sweater, and Diane, your test knit's almost done, so that's exciting. So if you cast on something new, post it on Instagram and tag me. Either tag at Wildflower Wool or use the hashtag New Start Monday Knits, and I will cheer along with you. I may even repost your picture on my story so other people can see what you're working on. So it's lots of fun. Just yeah, anything we can do to have fun and cheer everybody on with their knitting makes me super happy. So everybody, thank you so much for visiting with me tonight. Thanks to everybody who voted for the lollipop yarn. I'm gonna go find a needle and get this guy cast on. Thanks so much, everybody. So if you're hanging around Wednesday night and have nothing to do at 7:30, come right back here and you can see Jocelyn and I chatting about our knitting. See if what she's got done. She had 3 projects she was going to do, plus she was moving. I don't know. We'll see how far she got on her projects. And I'll show you mine as far as I've gotten on them. So happy knitting, have a fantastic week. And if you finish something, I highly suggest you just cast something else on. So I will chat with you all, some of you Wednesday nights, some of you Friday night. If you're in the Fiber Friends Facebook group, I'll be doing my live Friday night from the cottage. And that's over, yes, in the Facebook group. And then of course I'll be back here again Monday and I'll show you the progress on my hat. Happy knitting, everybody. Have a fantastic week. Bye.